Hello everyone, today I'm gonna show you a little tutorial on how to go from this to this. Stay tuned. I am gonna show you how to make your very own VRChat avatar in Blender. In these series of tutorials, I am going to show you how to create your own personal avatar in Blender and import it into Unity and from Unity to VRChat. I'll split these videos into multiple shorter parts for easier consumption. So obviously the first thing you're going to need is Blender. As of making this, the newest version is 2.9. I'm using 2.83 just because I haven't tested if the Cats plugin works with 2.9. I'm pretty sure it will, but just in case for this tutorial, we're gonna use an older version. So you can just download your Blender for free over there, or you can find the older version from the download page. You'll also be needing the Cats plugin that you can get from GitHub. This version is 0.17. Just click the download link. I'll have all the links down in the description. So you're gonna open up your Blender and you're gonna have a new general thing open, your scene. You can click A few times and delete. Get rid of all that. To install Cats plugin, you go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and Install. Now you're gonna look for your Cats plugin. It's gonna be called Cats Blender Plugin Master.zip. Install that plugin. Now you can search for it. Cats Blender plugin. Make sure it's checked. It should be unchecked when you first install it. Just make sure it's on. You don't have to worry about these. Yeah, it's up to date. Now to actually access Cats plugin, you're gonna go over here to the right. This layout should be the default one you're gonna be having when you first open up Blender. So you're gonna pull on this little arrow over here and you're gonna get this kind of look. And there's your Cats plugin right there. This is gonna be your bread and butter for anything related to VRChat. Now, the first thing you're probably gonna need is a base model. And the greatest place to get that is a DeviantArt or Booth. Maybe. I guess Booth has more of a already Unity ready models, but we're gonna go to the search bar and search for something like TDA base or MMD base. I personally prefer TDA. Just gonna search for those and all kinds of cool stuff will pop out. You can browse these for all eternity. Just find something you like. Make sure it's the base model, so the base model is a model without any clothing on. We're gonna add those in Blender. Click on the download, or the download link might be in the description. Read all the rules. Don't share, don't make any profits. Sacrifice the soul of your firstborn. All that good stuff. Once you've downloaded that, make sure you know where it is. We're gonna go back into Blender. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna click Import Model and find that. find that PMX model that you just downloaded. It's gonna be something like this. I'm gonna use a ready-made base that I made or edited myself. Alright, so once you've imported your base model, it should look something like this. The base models usually come with no hair on, but adding the hair works just about the same as adding the clothes. You just have to make sure, once you've added the hair and merged it with the rest of your armature, that the bones that come with your hair are parented to the head bone. And to do that, we're gonna go over here, make sure we're in object mode. Oh, I'm sorry, edit mode. And you're gonna go over here to the bone properties and make sure the parent bone is the head bone on all the first bones in your hair. Because for me, they're usually parented to the hips, and as we all know, the hair bones don't connect to the hip bone. So anyway, we're gonna add some clothes on her. I think I'm just gonna go with a nice loose hoodie and some nice shoes. I think I have one around here somewhere. There we go. We've imported a hoodie. Now, usually I don't use the bones for the clothes. We're gonna do a little blender magic and get it to work with the rest of the body. So once you've imported your shirts or whatever article of clothing you want, you're gonna go and fix model. We don't care about any of that. I think we need to fix it again. Sometimes you need to do it twice. There we go. Let me just hide the armature on the model. Sometimes you can use the bones to adjust parts of it to work better with the model, but I usually just use the move tool. So G. Well, let me just check. Yeah, that's fine. G and Z to move it up and down. Just make sure it's roughly where it should be. That's fine. We don't have to worry about all that clipping. We're gonna fix that next. G and Y, move it front and back. G and X to move it sideways, but that's pretty good actually. Yeah, just make sure the arms go where the arms belong and the neck goes about. Yeah, that's good. Now the next thing we're gonna do is fix all these holes, the clipping. So what you want to do is click on the mesh of your article of clothing. We're gonna go into sculpt mode. And I'm gonna show you my two favorite tools in the whole of Blender. First would be the grab tool, which lets you take care of most of the things. You just grab on parts of the mesh and pull. To make sure it's symmetrical on both sides, you can go to Tools, Symmetry, and make sure X is checked. Now let's just fix most of this stuff. Since this is going to be an oversized hoodie, I'm not too worried about how this works. I'm going to change the texture as well. Just make sure there's no clipping. No clipping going on. There's a little bit of clipping going on. And that's fine. Let me just hide that. Yeah, that's better. That is better. Now, I'm gonna show you how to use the draw tool. This is the first tool on the list. It works pretty much the same way. I like to use it without any symmetry. As the name applies, you basically just paint over. Now, I found that this works better on smaller things. I wouldn't use this to paint the whole model over. Sometimes if you have models that have a lot less polygons to work with, it tends to just look really blocky. So that's where I usually use the grab tool. I feel like it just gives you a cleaner look. But on this hoodie, there's a lot of creases and stuff. So we might not be able to use the grab tool solely for this. Like here. I'm pretty sure we can't get that. Well, actually, that worked pretty well. Usually I just fix the smaller holes with the draw tool. Like that. That's already looking pretty decent. Fix the butt. There we go. Nice. Now we have that done. We're gonna change the texture, so with your mesh still selected, we're gonna go into material properties. Make sure our mesh is selected. Go over here to MMD texture. Click on that. And this hoodie already comes with a lot of nice looking textures. Remade. You can change these to whatever you like. I made my own of an actual hoodie design that I'm selling, and I like black, so that's pretty decent. For this, the print is a little offset, so I'm gonna use the grab tool to adjust that to roughly where I want it. That looks hecking nice, even if I do say so myself. There we go. Maybe I'll make the sleeves a bit more loose. I kind of want them to flop around. There we go. Some weird stuff happening over there, but no one's gonna see that. No one's gonna see that. It's gonna be our little secret. There we go. Make sure there's no clipping going on. What I like to do is delete the armature on this. Oh shit, I forgot. Oh, I forgot about that. Fix model. And there we go. It deleted all the useless ones, and now we're gonna merge it. First, we're gonna pick our body, which is the one where we want the hoodie to be merged with. We're gonna click Shift and Armature, which is the hoodie. And then we're gonna click Fix Model. That should merge it quite nicely. Go back to edit mode, make sure everything is where they should be. Hair still connected to the head. Go to pose mode, make sure the shirt moves somewhat with the bones. It won't be perfect, but we're gonna fix that in the next step. There's gonna be some clipping going on. Now, to fix that clipping, we are going to separate our materials. We're going to separate the parts of our model by materials. And now we have all this stuff as separate parts. Now we're going to find our hoodie mesh, and we're going to go over here with the little triangle that says Object Data Properties. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete all these vertex data. Now, to do that, we're going to click on this little arrow here, delete all groups. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the little wrench, go to Add Modifier, Data Transfer. Now over here on the Data Transfer properties, we're going to click Source Object, and that's going to be the body, or the part where you want to use the vertex data from, which is, in this case, the body. Check vertex data, vertex groups, and down here you're going to click Generate Data Layers, and don't forget to click Apply. Boom. Fix model. Wait for it to finish. And there we go. Now we'll click the armature, go back to pose mode. Usually I test this with the feet. Rotate them, and that looks a lot better. It might still clip when you take it to extremes, but you'll never be able to move your arms that much. Anyway, so that's okay. Some pieces of clothing work better than others, but that's pretty decent. I think we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna add some shoes on her. Again, we're gonna click Import Model, find the shoes. I think I'll give her some boots. Import that, fix model. Now I'm gonna show you this because I couldn't find any tutorials on how to make shoes work. Because what it does is they always come in as a unified mesh, and what we want to do is make them separate. Now we don't need the armature for that, so we're just going to work with the mesh. What I like to do is move them over to the side a bit. Actually, I think we're going to scale them down too. Make sure they're roughly about the size you want. That's pretty decent. We're gonna work with that. Moving over to the side, make sure it's selected, go to Edit Mode. Click on this little thing in the upper right corner called Toggle X-Ray. Now you can select all the stuff. You're basically clicking through everything. Make sure it's roughly selected. Make sure only one shoe is selected. Control L sometimes works if you can't get everything. And then we're gonna press P and separate by selection. Boom, there you go. Now you have two separate meshes for the shoes. Makes it a little bit easier to put them on. There we go, move that one over to the side a little bit. What I like to do is just make sure the leg is somewhat where it should be, coming out where it should be. There we go, we're gonna fix that. a little bit later. There we go, same for this one. Just precision it so that you're happy with it. Yes, sir. It's not perfect, but we'll make it work. Now we're gonna click on the mesh, go to sculpt mode, and for this, I think I'm gonna use the draw tool. Yeah, that works pretty well for most things here. This might be a little difficult. Oh well, it works pretty well actually. There. Nearly perfect. This part's a little... No, that works too. Never mind. Do the same thing with the other shoe. Sculpt mode, use the draw tool or the grab tool. Just make sure your feet are actually inside the shoe. Fix all that. The toes. Yeah, that works pretty well. Some little clipping going on over there. Yep, that's good enough. Same thing again. We're gonna go out of sculpt mode into object mode. Shift and click both of your shoes. Control J to merge them. Click on the body. Shift click on the shoes and Control J again. And fix model. There we go. And then we're gonna check to see if we need to do another data transfer. Click the armature, go to pose mode, move the foot, shoes moving with the feet, that's good. How does that work? That works pretty well. I'm happy with that. Yes, sir. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't work that well. Then you're just gonna have to do the data transfer again. Separate by materials. Find the shoe. Delete the vertex groups. Go to the wrench. Add data transfer. And do all that. But this works pretty well as it should. Let me just make sure everything works. Wow, that works pretty remarkably well. There's some weight painting issues with the hoodie or the hood, but it's not really noticeable. There we go. Now we're ready to export this into Unity. Now, to do that, we're gonna do that through the Cats plugin itself. You don't have to worry about custom decimation, shouldn't be a problem. Eye tracking, now this is where you want to change things. Make sure head is the same as your head. Left eye, right eye, blink left. Oh, those are still in Japanese. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on model options, translate all. Boom. Oh, there we go. It fixed itself. Your blink left is going to be your left eye blinking, and the right one should be the right one. I don't think TDA models come with lower lids, but if it does, or you're using a different model, then make sure lower lid left and lower lid right are the right thing. Then we can go to testing. Oh, first we gotta create the eye tracking to test it. Boom, there we go. Make sure these work. We can move this Oh, it doesn't work yet. Well, the blink works. Reset shapes. Whoa, what happened there? Oh, there we go. It moves up and down, moves sideways. That's good. Reset shapes. Stop eye testing. We're done there. Visemes. These are your face shapes. Just make sure they're roughly the same. A, O, and C. You can change these if you want. They should already be quite right. Create visemes. There we go, everything is still working fine. Bone parenting, don't really need that. Optimizing, if you're making a model for the Oculus Quest or just want to make an optimized model, then we need to do some atlasing for the materials. For this tutorial, we're not going to do that, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Generate material list, and here you're going to see all your materials. It's a good idea to name them a little bit better than what I did. Actually, we're going to go back and name them. Click on your body mesh, click on material properties, and go over here where all your materials are and rename them to something a little bit easier to find. If you don't know what your materials do, you can go to edit mode and click on the material you want to make sure and click select. So this one equals the highlights of my eyes. So we're going to rename that to eye highlights or something. The lens, I think that's the classes inside. Okay, that's fine. That's the hoodie, that's the tail, body, that's the underwear. What's this? Oh, that's the horns. Okay, so we're gonna rename that to horns. That's the hair. Cheek, I think that's the face. Yeah, we're gonna rename that to face. This one is the eyebrows. Just gonna call them brows. This one was the iris. And what's this? I think the shoes. Yeah, it's the shoes. I'm just gonna name them boots. There we go. It's a lot easier now. Back here, update material list. And they should be a lot easier to figure out. What I usually do here is, if I'm gonna make a model for, let's say, the Oculus Quest. The Oculus Quest only allows you to have 4 materials. So what atlasing does, it combines the materials and the textures into one file. So what I would do is deselect all. I would probably atlas all the body textures, the skin textures, the eyes, the horns, the tail into one, and the clothes as separate. That would mean we'd have 2. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna pick the ones you want to merge. I think we're gonna leave. What the heck? We're gonna click on the iris, brows, face. We're gonna leave the hair separate. Horns, body, tail. Yeah, I think that's about it. Then you just click Save Atlas. Find where you want to save them. Let's just make a new folder here, call this tutorial, and we'd save them over here. And do the same thing for whatever the rest of the stuff is you want Atlas, but for this we're gonna just save the model for PC, so it doesn't really matter. We can just go in ahead, click export. It's gonna tell you have way too many materials, blah blah blah, you're only allowed 4. That's fine, continue to export. Let's find that folder we just made. I'm just gonna call this tutorial. Make sure the path mode is set to copy and this little thing is checked. If this isn't checked, all of this is for nothing. It's gonna embed the textures to the materials to the model. Everything else you can just leave them as they are. And just click export FBX. And there you go, congratulations, you just exported your first model. And in the next tutorial, I am gonna show you how to import this into Unity. If you have any questions about any of this, just leave some comments. I will try to answer them as well as I can. Maybe I'll make a separate video if there's something really specific. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Bye!